Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
This is an 80-20 grant from the Tennessee Department of Transportation, and in your information that was sent out, it says that this grant does not allow for the use of force account work. In other words, the city employees doing the work. It will cover sidewalks and pedestrian lighting. It will not cover pedestrian signals or traffic signals. And over here under the application, it gives us an idea of what we might be able to qualify. There's 3 boxes that I think that that I'd like for a careful consideration from our city manager to include. Under pedestrian and bicycle facilities, there may be some use of sidewalks, walkways, or curb ramps. Under the second box, it's safe routes for non-drivers. I think Mr. Shanks would be particularly interested in that. It gives access and accommodation for children, older adults, and individuals with disabilities. And third, and certainly not last, the historic preservation and rehab of historic transportation facilities such as the Crossville Depot. As you all remember, Sergeant Alvin C. York arrived there from World War I, and this restoration of railroad depots is particularly of interest to me because of the model railroad club that we have here in Crossville. I'd like for the city manager, especially after the report that they gave to the Rotary Club, to investigate that to see what alternatives or assets that we may avail ourselves with in regard to their wonderful exhibit to be included in this application as well. Plus, if we need to do some more work on the depot, that might be included in the grant application as well. That's all I had to say right there. That's one of the reasons that we put $500,000 in the budget this year for the downtown project, for the sidewalks, and make them ADA accessible and some other things. So I'd like for the grant writer and Mr. Manager to give us a report at the next work session in regard to any and all things that they may do that. It occurs to me, Mr. Mayor, that 10 or 12 years ago, we tried this Rails to Trails grant, and we were going to take it all the way to Crab Orchard, and the Isham property held us up on that. I believe it was to start at the depot, go all the way to Crab Orchard, but this is an old. This has been around for several years, and we're real glad that we're thinking about it right now. Mr. Manager, can you add to that report?
Well, a couple of things I would like to mention, though, that in the original cost that we were looking at, some of the street signals, traffic lights were in that. But the cost estimate that you were previously given, if we back out the intersection of Lantana and Main Street, that will not be, that cost will be removed from this, correct, Tim? So that will bring the total cost down.
The $2.6 million estimate and $2.3 million estimate, those are all one estimate.
I can't hear you, Tim. I'm sorry.
The $2.6 million estimate and the $2.3 million estimate is one document. It did not include the traffic signal at Lantana.
So our price cost is still $2.3 million?
Yes.
Okay, I was misunderstanding.
And there will be some additional costs that will go into that for the grant administration.
Understood, but if we back the streetlights out of that, which are not eligible, it'll be less money, correct? But we'll look at
Pedestrian
The
light.
pedestrian lights are, the street lights are eligible, it's the traffic signals that are.
Okay, I got it backwards.
Yes, you did.
Okay, never mind.
We're using other money for the
Yes.
section at the corner
Correct.
of Main and Lantana, right?
Yes.
Yes,
STP.
we're using STP money for that intersection.
So we've got money to cover that area, so we're good. But the other point I wanted to make before I mess that up, was I would like to investigate the possibility of applying for 2 grants, depending on what the outlook is, and do one separate for the depot and one for the sidewalks. And if maybe we can get a little more money for the depot that way. I'm not going to commit, I'm going to explore that. I'm not going to commit that I can do that, but I just want to make sure that I have blessing to go that direction. Okay.
I would add that because of the time frame, what we would do if you all pass something tonight, is at the August meeting, we will have a public hearing on the grant application, and there will be a resolution authorizing submitting the grant application.
But and you have a completed grant application to review as well. And the attorney will have reviewed.
I don't know if it'll be ready for the August, the actual application will be ready. The concept and all that,
When do we have
it's
to?
a short, because we've got to work on it. We can bring it back to you, but we have to what we could do is the resolution at the August meeting to allow the beginning of that application process, and then before it's submitted, to come back before council. We can do that, that's not a problem at all.
Mr. Mayor, I believe I want to see exactly what's covered before the grant application is submitted.
That's perfect.
Agreed.
Mr. Manager, what I think you ought to do is check every one of the boxes at 80/20. Let's go for it. We'll get half of them.
I can't cover that much detail, but we have our marching orders.
You have your marching orders, but we don't need a motion then on that.
We'll bring something back to you.
Okay.